Okay, so I have been using the all-new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 that I have here for about a week now, and today I want to share with you my full review of this baby right here. This is everything you need to know. Let's jump in. Now, as far as design goes, I think it's pretty safe to say that at this point, we all know how this works, right? We're already very familiar with just the whole system of folding phones. You know, unfolds open and gives way to a larger screen, and it folds in half, and in this case it literally folds in half and give you this kind of squarish thing, very pocketable, which for some may not be any more practical than the regular phone that they have, maybe because they generally have larger pockets. But for a lot of people, just folding this very tall phone into just this squarish thing is very, very practical, and just drop that in their pocket. Now, this is an all new and fresher design, if I can call it that. Now, I did not own the Galaxy Z Flip from last year, but this is pretty cool. I like this. And let's talk about just the front there. We have a 1.9 inches display there, which will allow you supposedly to do more than what you were able to do on the Z Flip from last year. Now, in my case, of course, I didn't have the one from last year, but I know that this screen, I don't have anything to compare with in terms of experience, but it does allow me to do a ton of things. Plus, just that hinge there, it just feels very sturdy. So we're still talking design here. Still, it feels just extremely sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's something that you can easily break. And you saw the way I opened it, a little bit like Flossie Carter, right? What I do on the other hand is that when I open it that way, I have my finger just kind of, in case I break it, just to kind of cushion the impact when I flip it open. And like I mentioned earlier, this is a pretty tall phone, so we're gonna go around and take a look at some of the physical features that you have included here, starting off with that power button. And this is a combo, so it's a combo power button slash fingerprint sensor. So it does have a fingerprint scanner embedded in that power button, and it works extremely well. I generally prefer physical fingerprint scanner, so this is just no different. As soon as you touch it, it unlocks the phone. Very nice. You know, I know some people are having a hard time reaching either that or the volume rocker. In my particular case, despite having large hands, I'm having a little bit of a hard time reaching the entire volume rocker. I can only reach the down volume, but as far as the fingerprint sensor itself, pretty easy for me to reach, obviously. So it becomes kind of either a two hands type of action, or I simply have to kind of scoot my hand over a little in order to reach both the top and the bottom volume rocker. Now, at the top of the phone itself, you don't see much there. On the left-hand side of the phone, you will have the SIM card slot, and right below that, you have the 5G antenna pad there. And at the bottom of the phone, you will find the USB Type-C port, along with a couple of mics there, and we also have a single speaker there, and it actually sounds pretty loud. Very impressive. The other good thing is that you actually, even though you only have one at the bottom, you also have the sound coming out of the top speaker right there. When the phone is folded, you have nothing except for this glass back here, which is actually a fingerprint magnet. And of course, you have the hinge. I talked about this, and this is a very well worked hinge. It feels very solid, and allows you to put the phone in, you know, just different levels, as you can see here. On the other half of the phone, that will be where you find the camera module. It's a dual camera module that you see there, along with the flash right at the bottom there. These are both 12 megapixel cameras. One is a wide and the other one is an ultra wide sensor, and picture quality is actually pretty crisp. Plus, you can shoot 4K at 30 or 60 frames per second with that main camera. On the front here, you have the selfie camera. That one is a 10 megapixel, and that one will also do 4K video at 30 frames per second. Now, let's go ahead and talk accessibility and usability of the phone. And before we jump into that, if this is your first time visiting, well, welcome, of course. Oh, welcome to the family, of course. I'm certainly hoping that you are enjoying the content so far, and if you are, I certainly appreciate that. Please do me a huge favor and hit both the like and the subscribe button there. It's a huge boost to this channel here, and again, I truly appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and cover accessibility or ergonomics. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a pretty long or just a pretty tall phone, right? I actually like it for, you know, scrolling things down. The aspect ratio here is a little bit odd because, again, it's a really tall phone, but scrolling things, you have a lot more of that real estate, more either at the bottom or at the top. And I do know that some people actually do hate that aspect ratio, especially when you go into landscape mode here. But I have no problem with it. And going back to the outside of the phone here, if you're not doing anything high productivity that kind of requires for you to be, to have the phone open for you to work, I would say just the outside screen, that 1.9 inches display there is enough for you to cover a range, a wide range of things. It's not a huge display, but it does allow you the visibility to do so many things, including even taking some selfies. And the resolution on it is 260 by 512, so pretty clear for you to be able to do at least minimal tasks. And even though I don't use the camera itself that much, I do find myself using this mainly for notifications, things like emails. You can actually access your emails. You can open emails and just scroll and read through them, a little bit like you'll be using on a watch or Apple Watch or, a Galaxy Watch and all that good stuff. So emails, text, playing music, so many things that you can do with just that small screen without necessarily having to open the phone itself. So if you are in a situation where you don't want to have to open it and you could just quickly glance at your phone, it's a very nice thing to have that screen there that allows you to do that. Plus you have this little orange dot that lets you know of your notifications so that you can open and get to them. As far as the specs go, it is loaded with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 5G. Of course, this is the Z Flip 5G, and I have to tell you that performance is top notch. That Snapdragon 888 is coupled with 8 gigs of RAM and is crazy snappy. I have not encountered any stuttering. That's not really expected, right? So it played pretty well on the S21 that I have here, or the S21 Ultra, whichever phones out there are running the Snapdragon 888. Typically, performance is amazing. Sometimes, battery will be a concern, but again, here it is no different. Super snappy, super smooth. The version or the variant that I picked up here is the one with 128 gigs of internal storage. So that's the base storage. You get 128 gigs internal storage with 8 gigs of RAM, or you can go for the next tier, which is 256 with 8 gigs of RAM also. And as you saw it, I went for this green color here, which in my eyes is more of a military green. I really like it. It's just a very good look on this phone here. So performance, day-to-day tasks, no worry there. Heavy tasks, no issues. It will handle all of that without any problem. Plus, I keep talking about the fact that it's a tall phone, right? So when you have the refresh rate here, a high refresh rate here at 120 hertz, so scrolling up and down is really smooth, since you have the additional screen real estate, added either at the top or at the bottom, however you want to see that. So when you scroll up, really clean. The screen size itself is 6.7 inches when open, so it has that foldable dynamic AMOLED display, and it pushes a resolution of 1080 by 2640 and can actually peak at 1200 nits. That is crazy bright, and colors do pop so much. OLED displays are known for that, right? So red, super red, blacks are really black also. So very nice display here, whether you're outside under direct sunlight. Looks really clean. The battery on this phone here is the one downside that's been brought up by many people, right? And including myself. It's not the best battery. And in my case, obviously, I carry 2 phones. Like I've always said, I always carry 2 phones, and I'm okay with that. I can survive with it. But for many people who buy this phone as their standalone only phone, they may need to actually carry along with them a charger. Now in my specific case, I get a little bit over 3.5 hours screen on time. Now it will differ with yours, right? Because this whole battery thing is very subjective, right? So it will depend on the type of usage that you apply on your phone. In my case, as I mentioned, a little over 3.5 hours screen on time is throughout the day, obviously, so I can easily finish the day with it simply because I have a secondary phone. It is a 3300 milliamp battery, so as you can tell, not necessarily the biggest out there. It does support wireless charge and also fast charge at up to 15 watt. Now with all of that being said, here's my take. I still firmly believe that foldables will be the future. Again, I'm gonna say it again. I'm not saying that foldable will get rid of the current form factor. I just think it will coexist with whatever we currently have out there. With Samsung bringing down the prices as they're doing now, this guy here will run you $999, so $1,000. And of course, you do have other phones with regular form factors that will run you that same price. But in the case of this one, if you were to pick it up, obviously you would need to be making some compromises with things like battery and so forth. But this has been improved from what was released last year. You know, they improved the price, if we could call it that. They improved performance. They improved pretty much everything. The build quality. It's a solid phone. I just really love how solid it feels in the hand. Samsung definitely did a good job with this one, and I'm certainly hoping that a lot more people will catch on and will start buying foldable phones and make this as common as any other phone out there. But anyway, I would definitely recommend this to people who want, you know, a cool phone and who may not be power user. If you are a power user, this may not be the phone for you. If you already have a main phone like myself and you want to buy a secondary phone, and if you have, you know, the extra money to buy this, to afford this one, I would say go for it. It's really, really cool phone. And of course, the honeymoon period will be a phase that you would truly enjoy this phone here. So in short, if you are looking for cutting edge technology at an affordable price, this is the phone to get. Otherwise, if you're just looking for a regular phone, you know, you're going for something of value, you don't really care about cutting edge technology, obviously stay away from this phone. But anyway, I truly appreciate you watching this up until now. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I'm going to catch you in the comment section like I always do. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. And up until then, of course, as always, stay safe out there.